Hello, everyone. Welcome to tonight's team call. It is December 8th, almost 2016, which is really crazy. This year went by. But tonight we have Colleen, one of me and Alexa's good friends who we met through Beachbody, and she is the sweetest person if you ever meet her in person. But I'm going to kick it off by saying she is currently ranked number 94 in the company. She is a 2014 Premier Coach. She is a 5-star diamond in her first business center. She's 2-star with her husband's business center, who they just got married, and their wedding was published in a magazine, and it was beautiful. She is 1-star in her second business center. She's earning 6 figures this year, which was one of her huge goals, which is so awesome. And she is a Success Club 10 legend. Like, she just is amazing, clearly. She's only missed 1 month of Success Club 10 in 28 months, and she earned 2 free Cancun trips. And she said this because it meant a lot to her that she was able to take her mom and her dad and her husband. And so that is a really awesome accomplishment that not many people do, I don't think, in this business. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to you, and you can start by sharing a little more about your story.
Sure. Hi, guys. So Emma told you I'm sweet and all, but I'm going to bring a whole side of badass today for you guys. But I mean well. I know when I speak with my team, I just speak from the heart. And of course, our topic today is being authentically you. So that means I get to be myself even more. But I always like to share a little bit about myself and how I got started with Beachbody, because I think people look at me now and they hear me speak now and they think that I just woke up, like I came out of the womb like this. And I can tell you that in these last 2.5 years, I have been tested, I have failed, I have experienced more than all of my 30 years put together. So if you are willing to put up with the roller coaster ride and you have an open mind that this is going to be a long journey, it's going to be difficult, I accept it, and I'm ready for a change. If you start every day like that on your journey as a Beachbody coach, you'll learn to appreciate the challenges a lot more. And so I learned with my personality that I was so resistant to anything before I became a coach. And so I had to throw out all my beliefs from before. So I love this topic. And I actually, when I was writing these notes today, you should have seen me. I haven't wrote notes for a new call for a while because typically I speak on mindset. And I'm so happy I'm speaking on this because I think it's going to be awesome. I was pumping myself up. But like I was saying, before I started coaching, I grew up in an amazing life with my family on the East Coast. I now live in Northern California. And so when I moved out here, I was about 24 years old, and I kind of just thought that I knew it all. I was managing a huge multi-million-dollar Verizon wireless store. And so at the age of 24, I thought I arrived. I thought I had it all in the bag. I had this fancy resume. I was making what I thought was good money. Now that I see Beachbody money, I'm like, what was I thinking? And so I really thought that I kind of had it all figured out. And I'm very type A personality. So anytime that an obstacle would come my way, I would let it completely just destroy me. Whether, I lost something, I felt like things were always being stolen from me. I always had my car broken into, I was always living the victim role. But I just went through life thinking that's what life was going to be like forever. And so working for corporate America, I really settled. I settled in thinking that the resume and the amount of hours that I worked meant how successful I was. And I've learned so much since then. But when I moved out here, I transferred my Verizon job, and I'd been with the company for 5 years at that point. And when I got here, it was the best lifestyle choice for me that I've ever made. I still don't regret moving out here. I didn't know a single soul. I packed up my whole life in a $1,700 pod and moved out here. And I live in Lake Tahoe. If you've never looked at it, what it looks like, you need to go Google it. It's amazing. So when I got here, I was like, oh my God, I'm living this California dream. But I didn't have the opportunity to explore. Not only did I start to hate my job, but I had a really horrible boss. And this boss made my life a living hell. She every day would make me feel insignificant. She would literally make my stomach turn. It's really hard to make me cry, but when I'm mad, I cry. Multiple times I would be in my car on my lunch break or step outside, and I started to feel really defeated. And so a blessing in disguise, although one of the most difficult things I've ever had to deal with in my life, a blessing in disguise came my way, and that horrible manager actually found a way to get rid of me because her and I did not see eye to eye, and she found out about a store that was closing. So I want to picture you, if you guys still work full-time or have another job, that maybe you have like a backup plan. Like if Beachbody doesn't work, I have my other job. Well, I didn't even know about Beachbody at this point, but I walked into work one day and found out that the store that I was working at closed. So that manager transferred me to a store, and I was so excited to get transferred to a new store because I wanted to get away from her. Then I find out that store was closing. So I got laid off, and it was really hard for me to swallow because I was like, wait a second. I went to school, I got good grades, I worked my ass off for this company, and all because one person decided that they didn't like me, they found out a way to basically rip out the carpet from underneath me. And that to me was the end of the world. It was the only thing I knew. I had all my eggs in one basket. I was 3,000 miles away from my family. And because that job made me so miserable, my now husband, then boyfriend, actually broke up with me because he was like, you're so negative and so miserable. I just can't deal with it. So I really, if you can picture how I was feeling, was at an all-time low. And you hear a lot of people in this business where they hit rock bottom or they just needed the change. Enough was enough. And that was me. So when I decided to become a business owner, I don't like to say become a coach. When I decided to become a business owner, I was all in because someone took away my opportunity to be a business owner. I felt like Verizon in that store was my baby. And so I felt, I was very hurt by it. I took it very personal. So when I saw someone else, literally just on my newsfeed, living the life I wanted, which was spending time with her husband, she had that Beachbody glow. She never talked about her money. She never talked about her fitness transformation, but gosh darn it, she was just happy. She was living her life authentically, and she was genuine about everything that I read. And my upline is Elizabeth Hartkey. If you guys don't follow her, you need to. She's awesome. But I reached out to her and I said, I want to sign up. I want to do this. If I can't commit to 25 minutes a day, because it was T25 at the time, if I can't commit 25 minutes a day to myself, I don't really know how else I can change my life. So I started drinking Shakeology because I had stomach ulcers. And if you have ever had any stomach or digestion problems, Shakeology is a complete life changer. And it has been for me. I couldn't eat healthy vegetables before. I couldn't eat a healthy meal plan because my stomach was literally rotting from the inside out from my stress and my unhappiness. And it hurt. Like it physically hurt. So when I think back to the first day I pressed play on T25, I basically had to look at myself in the mirror and be like, I'm not going back to that life. I don't want to stay here anymore. So it's only up to me. And that's why today when I'm going to talk to you guys about being authentically you, and if you're taking notes, this is point one. This is all about owning yourself and your journey. So when I signed up, I was like, look, I lost my job. My boyfriend at the time, we were back together, but it was still kind of shaky. Like we didn't really know where our relationship was going. We didn't have Coach Basics. We didn't have Zoom. We didn't have all these amazing resources that you guys have. We didn't have a fraction of that. So I was like, this is all on me. I have to start thinking bigger. I have to start believing that I can be successful, because if I don't, I'm going to end up in the exact same place, which would be going back to a corporate job. And I personally did not want that. So owning yourself and your journey and having that self-reality check of, okay, I signed up for this for a reason. Because I'm sure you guys didn't go to Emma or Alexa and say, hey, I think I want to try this because maybe it's going to be fun. You basically were like, Alexa, I need to bring my husband or wife home from work, or I want to be able to pay for my child's daycare, or I need the discount on Shakeology because I cannot afford this. For whatever reason, you came to them for a reason. And so if you are committed and if you are changing, why wouldn't you want to share that? And I say that because a lot of people are like, well, I'm afraid to share. And so this is the question that I ask people. Are you owning yourself and honestly changing? Because if I wasn't changing, let's say 6 months goes by. wasn't reading my personal development, I wasn't really committed to my programs, I wasn't really showing up on the team calls, I would not be compelled to be like, look at me, look what I'm doing. And I wouldn't want to authentically be me, because that's a tough reality check. When I signed up, I was like, I don't want anyone to think this is a scam. I don't want anyone to have to pay $140 for a bag of Shakeology, so they're going to sign up for the discount. Like, I was so afraid to have someone question what I was doing that I went full force with it. I owned where I was at in my life. I moved forward, and I was like, this is my journey. And I truly mean that. Like, I owned it from day one. Whenever time hop comes up, I'm like, damn. I was for real. I wasn't messing around. I wasn't like, so I signed up and I'm doing this challenge group thing and look at my Shakeology shaker. I wasn't like that. I was like, this is going to change my life. This is where I'm going. That's where I was in my life. And this is where I want to go. And that's inspiring to people. So maybe you're scared to be yourself and share where you're at because you know deep down that you're not giving this your best effort. And I told you that I'm going to be a little sassy with you guys tonight because this is the talk that I had to tell myself too. I had to say, when I'm not performing and when I'm not getting results, I can't point the blame at anyone or anything else. I have to say, when I put my head on the pillow at nighttime, did I give today my A+ effort? And if I did, I'm going to sleep well and I'm going to wake up in the morning and I'm going to feel good about my efforts. But if you aren't feeling compelled to share and you're so excited to be like, look at all the work I've done and I'm changing and I believe in myself and I feel more confident, I'm losing weight, whatever it may be for yourself, you're not giving this your A+ effort. That's probably why you don't want to authentically be yourself. Discipline plus habits equals happiness. So think about it. Everything that makes you unhappy basically breaks down to a habit that you're either sticking with that you need to get rid of or a new one that you're not developing. Let's say clean eating. If I'm not happy with myself because I can't lose those last 10 pounds, it's typically because of a habit. I'm not eating a meal plan or I'm not doing my workouts. It's just basically a habit. Or I'm still buying the Doritos because my kids have to have Doritos. Or I'm still buying the Oreos because my little 4-year-old will freak out if I don't buy Oreos. Like, this is the shit people say. And I'm like, okay. So discipline plus habits equals your happiness. So when I want to get real with myself, I'm like, okay, I want to rank advance. I want to grow my income. I want to change some lives. What type of discipline and what type of habits do I have to build up so that I can hit those goals? When you're changing and when you're growing personally, you will have a story to tell. So I am a personal development, mindset, fitness freak because all of those ways I can prove to people that I'm changing my life. The proof is in the pudding. Like, if I have something to show or something to tell that has to do about change, I'm gonna share it. So again, just ask yourself, am I doing the things that I need to actually show personal growth and change? When you do commit to change, growth, discipline, and habits, you'll feel empowered. And then you get to be you because if I was so excited about my fitness journey or something I did in my business, I would be crazy not to share that. But if you don't feel like you have anything to share, it's probably due to just the discipline and the habits. So I want to tie this in a little bit to social media because basically, like, social media is your business tool. You guys don't go door to door. Maybe you do fit clubs. Maybe you do, like shake and share events. But I highly doubt anyone on the screen really does that to grow their business. 100%. Basically, your social media is your storefront. And what are you selling? I'm not selling Beachbody. I'm selling me. So basically, if you want to be successful with this, the one thing you do have to do is be you. And because if I try to be anything else other than me, I'm going to be a cookie cutter Beachbody coach. Anyone can buy Shakeology. Anyone can buy the 21-day fix. Why should they come to you? If you're authentically you and you finally just start to kind of forget about being fearful and let it sting a little bit, throw something really scary out there. And I promise you that you will get support. Whether it's about an income post, whether it's about your before and after, whether it's about how petrified you are about making the post, whatever you are going to put out there, if it's fearful, I promise you that as soon as you press post, you're going to get 2, 3, 4, 10, 20 people who say, you're inspiring, awesome job, I love what you're doing, right? Every single time that we share something vulnerable on social media about us, what do we get? Support. Now, a lot of people are like, but what about the haters? I want you guys to go on YouTube, and like for me, I love makeup. So if you go to like the best makeup tutorial person, she'll have 1 million likes and like 400 dislikes. If you want to be a person of influence, there's always going to be someone that hates you. Just like Mother Teresa, she was hated by many. Barack Obama, probably a touchy subject right now, but a lot of people hate him, but there's always going to be someone that likes him. I mean, I could go on and on with the people that have been inspiring from our past, but I want to be a person of influence. We all want this team, right? We want this big audience, this big following, but yet we're so fearful of like the one dislike or maybe the one person who questions us. And if we live our entire lives like that, we're letting everyone else dictate our life. So typically, social media, I tell my team, is black and white. You're either going to do it or you're not. So tonight when we get off this call, I would love it, and I'm sure Emma and Alexa would, if you guys just made the decision that you're going to have the perspective that social media and the way I share my story, the way you share your story, it's a beautiful thing. I literally can grow a 6-figure business from this. And I know a lot of you don't know, I don't even know if Alexa knows, but my husband is going to be beginning 3 months of chemotherapy 5 days a week next week. I can move 4 hours with him away from home and be with him every single day because of this business and grow a business from social media from this. If you aren't sharing your story on social media and being authentically you, what are you doing? It's black and white. You do it or you don't. Most people overthink social media. They overthink it. You're sitting here for so long worrying about the what ifs rather than practicing good thinking like a successful person does, and they see all the positives. Maybe I can inspire 10 people today. Maybe I can recruit a new coach today. Maybe I'll share my journey and one of my coaches will be inspired. Shift your focus a little bit to what the positives will be when you are authentically you. Because typically we talk ourselves out of it because we're worried about the negative things that come with authentically being you. So think about it. Every successful coach that there is, why are they successful? So think of your favorite coach. I think Alexa's awesome, Emma's awesome. So they're successful because they share their story. People connect with them and they're like, oh, hey, you're human. You're a mom, Emma. Alexa, she has an amazing weight loss transformation and she has shared every up and every down and every piece of her story, and people crave their social media. So let's say Alexa was like my faith, okay? If Alexa was the coach that inspired me most, I probably log into her Instagram every single day to see what she's doing. I'm craving her Instagram. Why? Because she's Alexa. She's not like, drank my shake today, did 21-day fix, hashtag portion fix containers all day. She's like, hey, this is what I did today. This is how I feel. Today sucked. I'm tired. I ate too much. Oh, look at I'm down 5 pounds. Like the real, raw, authentically Alexa. Times a million other things. I was trying to think of as many things. Stop being a Beachbody coach and be you, because you're selling you, not the products. Because these coaches put it all out there, they give people a chance to get to know them. I was at my corporate job, I was stressed. I had stomach ulcers. My boss made me feel like shit. Do you know how many people have told me that I have changed their life or they joined my team because I shared that and they never thought that I was in those shoes? So sometimes we have to get really vulnerable and be willing to share. But here's my next point. We are so resistant as human beings. We will resist and make up stories and excuses for as long as we live to not have to face something scary. And so typically it's a self-limitation or an excuse, right? But we all want to graduate onto the next best thing. So what you have to do is you have to think of the self-limiting beliefs that we're telling ourselves. I could never be Alexa. I don't have a weight loss story. I'm not a mom. I don't have the time, whatever it is, and make that the reason that you're doing it. For example, example, a coach on and I have really bad internet at home. And I said, make that the reason why you share your story. I'm successful with Beachbody because I work full-time in a corporate job. That's going to inspire people. I am successful with Beachbody even though I have really horrible internet and it cuts out all the time. That will be inspiring to people. When you decide to release the same bullshit story and excuses and move forward, you'll start to realize that things are going to start going your way. I want to grow a team. I want to recruit coaches. Well, if they don't know anything about you and what you have to offer as a coach and how you've overcome obstacles, they're probably never going to join your team. My next tip for you guys is to be coachable. This is so huge. So I'm sure that you guys do one-on-one calls with your team or with your coaches all the time, right? When your coach says to do X, Y, Z, it's not because we're bossing you guys around or managing you. It's because we've been in your shoes and we know what works, or we're giving an educated opinion on what we think will help you. So when I signed up, my coach was like, you hit Success Club, you share your story consistently, even when the results don't show up in your business. If you give this a year or two, this will change your life, but you can't be like showing up 3 days a week. You got to show up 7 days a week, even when you don't feel like it. And I was extremely coachable when she told me what to do. So if you want to be the CEO of your own business, you guys have some of the best mentors in all of Beachbody that are telling you guys what to do. I could tell you until I'm blue in the face to authentically be you, but you have to own that and understand why. I'm a big why person. Why do you need to be you? Because you'll never be able to grow a team of like-minded people if you're not giving them the chance to get to know you. Also, don't allow yourself to keep repeating the same pattern in your head. I, for so long, thought that I could never recruit a team. It took me a good year to understand recruiting. So that was like my vice. But I can't recruit, but I can't recruit, but I can't recruit. And that was my self-limiting belief. Sometimes you don't even realize what your self-limiting beliefs are. So I know you guys have, or most of you have listened to my mindset call. You're going to have to start realizing the things that we're telling ourselves in our head, because 9 times out of 10, our brain is talking us out of authentically being ourselves. So I know mindset's like a whole nother call, but you really do have to like completely nip that in the bud. If you're telling yourself that you can't do something over and over again, recognize that and ask your coach to hold you accountable. All right, next I want to talk about personal development and vulnerability. I can never say that word. Sharing your aha moments and your moments of reflection give a huge wow factor. One of my coaches, Candice Rogers, I don't know if you guys follow her, but she does an amazing job of sharing her journey. She owns almost on every single post that she's reading personal development. So when you share a moment that you've had of, for example, she didn't realize how upsetting her relationship with money was. So for the longest time, I was like, girl, you have money sitting on the table, and the reason you joined was for money. But she's like, oh, I'm not a numbers person. This is a total side note, but if you're not a numbers person, it's one of 2 reasons. You either have a horrible relationship with money and you hate it or you love it, or you just don't understand how our compensation plan works. That's usually what I tell people. I guess I could add a third one. Maybe you're comfortable at home. A lot of people are like, oh, my husband pays the bills and I just work because I'm bored. Oh, well, lucky you. So if you're comfortable, like put yourself in the shoes of desperation. Think bigger other than like, oh, I don't really care about money. You're not going to be able to grow a business like that. Totally random, but I want to say that. But I was saying about Candice and sharing her personal development moments, she reflects back on the person that she used to be, because now the way that she perceives things and analyzes something that's going on is completely different. That's going to show people that you're being authentically you. And you're like, look, my mindset back then really sucked, but look what I've learned now. If you aren't doing bold things to change, then you might be a little boring. People come to me all the time and say, but I don't have a story. And I was like, well, what have you done different in a year? Oh, I did 21 Day Fix Extreme. Oh, okay. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing. If you aren't doing something bold to change, then you might not have quite an inspiring story. And I don't mean to say that and be mean. I mean to say that to inspire you guys to stop telling yourself that you can't do huge, scary, awesome things. When's the last time you thought of looking in your local area and seeing who's running the Super Saturday event and being like, hey, I'd love to share my story in front of people? Does that make you want to throw up? Probably, but that's the kind of thing that you need to do. Because when I signed up, and I know I said a little bit of this, I was so afraid for people to think that this was not real, but all I could think of is like, well, if I'm on a microphone at the front of a huge event, and if I'm going to Summit in Nashville, like, it must be real, right? You guys have to be able to share that this is real. People don't sign up or buy because of the products. They sign up because of you. So that has a lot to do with vulnerability. You don't want to be perfect. You want to be authentically you. Last 2 points. This one popped into my head because I feel like it doesn't get talked about a lot in this business. And so modeling after success. So for example, Alexa and Emma have both inspired me multiple times with some of their posts. And I'm like, oh, that was really awesome. They're successful. I'm not copying them. I'm modeling after their success. We always say in this business, success leaves clues. So I'll give you guys another example. So Amy Silverman last year she's like the coach I looked up to a lot. She's the coach that I log into on my phone every single day and go to her page and look at all her posts for the day. Every single day. 365 days a year, I crave her social media. So I want to model after her success. So I log in, I see what she's doing, and she gives me great inspiration to do something different. Last year, she was in the test group for Insanity Max 30, and I was like, oh man, but I just can't do Insanity Max 30. It's too hard for me. Maybe you've told yourself, I can't do hammer and chisel. That's way too hard for me. Or I can't do this. Those are the self-limitations I'm talking about. We need to model after success. So if I see Alexa doing her Tuesday transformation or Throwback Thursday, maybe I should emulate after her because it's obviously working. She's being relentless with sharing her journey. And if it doesn't work for you, guess what? You find a different way to go. Because what works for her might not work for you, but that's what I'm saying. You have to model after success and try multiple things. You're going to find something that works for you, maybe that Emma does, and then pair it up with something Alexa does, maybe something that Melanie Mitro does, who knows? But if you see coaches doing hard workouts, sharing their before and after pictures, talking about personal development, sharing coach opportunity posts, those are the things that you need to be doing too. You have to take initiative and follow the clues that success leaves and insert your story to kind of wrap that point up. Do the things that a successful CEO would. And so on my mindset call, I'll always tell people, when I'm having a really crap day, I wake up in the morning, like let's say today, Carl Deichler. Why do I do that? Because Carl has to show up no matter how shit his day is. He's got a million things going on. He might have hammer and chisel, warehouse problems going on, or shipping delays, and he has a meeting with Autumn, and then Jeff, and then all of our new Success Club like recognition that's coming out. All this stuff that Carl has on his plate. Carl doesn't have the choice if he feels like showing up today, and that's why he's successful. And so when I'm authentically me, I think about that. I'm like, all right, I woke up. My morning's really not my favorite. What am I doing to change that? And how can I share that? Because a lot of people ask us, how do you stay motivated all the time, right? Well, I face the problem and I have a solution because I'm part of an awesome community that gives me the tools and resources that I need. Guys, you work for a health and fitness company, right? So a lot of companies, and I might be biased because I love this business, but if someone else is having like a really rough day, I don't know if they have what we have. You drink your pre-workout, you put your workout shoes on, and you get a workout done, and 30 minutes later, you forgot why you were even mad in the first place. This is pretty awesome, and you need to talk about that. You need to talk about every single emotion that's attached to that. Modeling after success. So if you are taking any notes and you want to know what to post and what to say, here are 3 guidelines for you. Educate, inspire, and entertain. So every day when I wake up, in the morning, I inspire. In the afternoon, I entertain, something stupid with my dogs or something like that. And then during the nighttime, I will educate. So, talking about my team or something I learned or things like that. So that's been a great guideline for me. Another thing, modeling after success. If you guys didn't realize what most successful coaches do when they're authentically them, is that basically their social analytics are up to in their business. I always know what they're up to during their day. And if you don't work full-time Beachbody, that's even better in some ways. So I'm growing a business while working full-time. I still have the capability to get to work, and I still can eat clean at work. You don't have to eat the donuts in the break room. You can bring a blender into work and have Shakeology in the break room. Like, you have to show people how you are making this work for you. So stop letting your circumstances define you. Model after success when you are sharing on social media. Educate, inspire, entertain. And then, I don't know if you guys saw that Crave video from Danielle Natoni. I'm pretty sure it's just on her YouTube channel. It's a 7-minute video explaining how to build Facebook and Instagram. And she gives amazing points talking about that Crave method that I was sharing with you guys. So I just wanted to get out there. It's going to be scary. It might sting a little bit. You might not have the confidence you need, but that's why you do it. You don't have the confidence you need yet, so you have to build it up. The confidence fairy doesn't come and just sprinkle dust on you and say, okay, now you're confident. You have to work up to it. And that's what I have to say.
No, oh my gosh, that was amazing. Like, I don't know about everyone, but I was taking notes, and I just think a lot of the things that you talked about are some things that are really hard to talk about in this business because it's like total real talk, but I think it's exactly what people need to hear. And I think this call is going to definitely be a replay for a lot of people and possibly use in some groups.
Yeah, you just blew my mind.
Yeah, you are amazing.
Thank you. If you guys have any questions, and it doesn't have to be about all the rattling I just did, please ask.
Yeah, so if you want to post in the chat box if you have any questions or anything while we have her. She's awesome.
Ooh, I'm going to ask a question.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to be National Wake Up Call status. So can you tell us what Beachbody has done for you and how it's changed your life?
By the way, why haven't you been on a national wake up
Yeah,
call?
I was asking that. I was like, okay, so can this be on the National Wake Up Call? Because this was really good. But go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, my rank isn't quite there, I guess, so they haven't asked yet, but soon. So, God, what has Beachbody done for me? Well, this could be like a 10-minute answer, and I'm going to try to keep it to like 60 seconds. So when I signed up with this, I believed in the potential of earning. I'm a money person because money has ruled my life for a long time. And so I went from I worked 4 jobs. I worked as a VIP bottle service girl in a nightclub till 4 a.m. for a long time. I worked at a tanning salon after I lost my job. And I did graphic design and Beachbody. And so to go from working all the jobs I hated while still growing this business, earning tiny money, like $100 a week, $60 a week, $0 a week. In my first 6 months, I made $5,000. This was like my job, and I lived off of that. To say that I made $3,000 last week, I feel like is just pretty mind-blowing. But I put up with the roller coasters, and it's also taught me that I can really deal with anything. It's taught me what it takes to be a badass at life, because I think I thought for a long time that I worked hard and I went to school, so I should get everything that I want, and it doesn't work like that. And I'm in the best shape of my life. I don't know if you guys have ever seen my transformation, but it's like my body completely morphed, completely. People don't even believe it. I still look at the old pictures and I'm like, oh my God. And it's going to allow me to, I told you about my husband already, but our goal was to retire him from work. And obviously he's not going to be working. So we're going to be dealing with his chemo. And so to say that this job has changed my life, it's saved my life. It really, I don't want to get emotional, but to think that I get to move and be with him and still work my job and make this kind of money. I would do this job for the $100 a week still. I don't care. I was so happy when I was making that $100 a week doing something I loved. So yeah, I think that was like a 2-minute answer, but, and now I get to pay this forward to other people. There comes a point when you have that light bulb that goes off in your business and you get it and you're like, oh, I get it now. So I have to give this to someone else because you don't have the right to not pay this forward to someone else. It's that awesome. That's how you have to think when you're sharing this business. You don't have the right to not share it with someone.
Yes, I agree with that.
I'm all sweaty now.
Well, yeah, you're all it's amazing. I mean, and I'm so happy that you get to be with Sean and go through that together and be able to not have to rely on anyone else to let you do that, you know, like you don't have to rely on anyone for that. So it's awesome.
It's crazy.
I don't see any questions, but I know people love the call. So thank you so much. And we'll talk soon.
Okay, guys. Thanks for having me.